And I do want to turn now to Tennessee Democratic State Representative Justin Jones. You've called this bill morally insane. We just heard a few of the concerns that people who are against it have expressed. But when you look at this big picture, why were you so passionately against it?
This bill is morally insane because a year after a mass shooting took the lives of 3 9-year-olds and 3 adults, this is the response of my Republican colleagues not to pass red flag laws, not to pass universal background checks or a ban on assault weapons, not safe storage laws, but to expand firearms and put more guns in our schools. When the teachers of my district, the teachers of Tennessee, are saying we want to be armed with supplies and books and fair pay, not with firearms. I mean, this bill is insanity, and it just goes to show that we are working with a Republican supermajority here in Tennessee that puts the lives of our children beneath the campaign contributions of the gun industry. That is morally insane. That is shameful. That is unacceptable. And what we saw yesterday was people drug out of the gallery, begging them, please don't do this. Mothers and teachers and students and clergy crying, saying, do not do this. You have blood on your hands. And they were drug out of the House chamber because the Republican speaker did not want to hear the voices of the people of Tennessee, the vast majority of whom, Republican, Independent, and Democrat, oppose this immoral, extreme bill.
Let me ask you about some of the specific arguments that were made in favor of it. One is that if you're a big city, if you're any city, you can opt out of it. Nobody is being forced to do this. But for folks in rural areas where they don't have the option, for example, of a fast response by police or do not have security on campus, this is a good option for them. What would you say?
That is a false solution. What is one firearm going to do against an assault weapon? At the Covenant School here in Nashville, there were armed security. That did not stop this mass shooter who had a military-grade weapon. In Uvalde, you had police officers afraid to go up against assault weapons. One firearm is not going to stop a school shooter. What it's going to do is going to end up in a situation with a student finding a unsecured firearm in a desk or in a bag and harming themselves or people in that classroom. I mean, this is, what's going to end up is our schools are going to be turn into firefights between shooters. I mean, this is just insanity. It's not going to make anyone safer. It's not going to increase school safety. But in fact, it's a false solution, and it's a dangerous solution to a very real problem in which Tennessee gun violence, gunshot wounds are the #1 cause of death of children right now. That is insane that this is the #1 cause of death of children, and yet they're doing nothing to address that issue.
The bill does have a confidentiality clause, as you know. It means parents would not be told whether anyone at their child's school is armed or whether even their own child's teacher has a gun in the classroom. Now, the reason the bill's Senate sponsor says is that it adds the element of surprise for the potential shooter. What do you say to that?
I mean, this is how outrageous my state is here in Tennessee, is that we just pass laws saying that we don't trust teachers to pick the books in their classroom, to censor the books about Black history or about things that they don't like to talk about. And yet we are going to trust, this idea of secretly keeping a firearm without the consent, without the knowledge of parents who should know and be able to opt their child out of sitting in a classroom with a armed teacher. I mean, that is what is so ridiculous and outrageous about this bill, is that we are banning books, but we're saying teachers bring guns and don't even tell parents what teachers have guns in this classroom, in this school. I mean, that is the problem with this bill.
Tennessee State Representative Justin Jones on a very important issue. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us.